sister took credit for my work and said, "I deserve more, you can manage." So I let her have it all. A few weeks later, she was desperate to get me back. I didn't even realize what was happening until it was too late. For years, I had worked tirelessly to build my business from the ground up. The late nights, the endless stress, the sacrifices. I had poured everything into making it successful. And through it all, my sister, Lisa, had been there, watching from the sidelines, occasionally offering to help when it suited her. I never thought much of it. She was family, after all. But when the biggest opportunity of my career came knocking, Lisa was suddenly everywhere. It started with small things. A casual comment here and there, twisting the truth in front of our family. "Oh, I helped with that." Or, "Yeah, I basically set that up for him." At first, I didn't take it seriously. Lisa had always been the kind of person who liked to exaggerate her role in things. Then came the real blow. One of our biggest clients, one that I had spent years cultivating, was set to bring in a massive deal. A promotion was in the works for me, something that would put my name at the top of the industry. But when the time came for recognition, Lisa made her move. She wove a web of lies, convincing everyone, our colleagues, our family, even my own business partners, that she had been the mastermind behind it all. That she had been the real force driving the company forward. And somehow, people believed her. I confronted her one night, after hearing yet another person congratulate her on her success. "Lisa," I said, trying to keep my voice calm, "why are you doing this? You know I built this company. You helped here and there, sure, but this was my work." She just smirked. That smirk. The one she always had when she thought she had won. "I deserve more," she said, arms crossed. "You can manage." I stared at her, waiting for some sign of guilt, some hesitation. But there was none. She truly believed it. And that was the moment I made my decision. She wanted the business? She could have it. Every responsibility, every problem, every long, exhausting night of stress, she could deal with all of it. I wasn't going to fight. I was going to walk away. The next morning, I made it official. I walked into the office, gathered my things, and sent out a short, professional email to the board and our clients. "Effective immediately, I am stepping away from the company. Lisa has assured me she is more than capable of handling all responsibilities moving forward." And just like that, I was done. Lisa wanted the spotlight? She had it. She wanted to be the genius behind the company's success? She could prove it. The funny thing was, no one expected me to actually leave. Even Lisa hesitated when she saw me packing my desk. "What are you doing?" she asked, frowning. "I'm letting you have it," I said simply, grabbing my laptop. "This is what you wanted, right?" She blinked, clearly caught off guard. I could tell she had expected a fight. She probably thought I'd scramble to prove my worth, to argue with her, to demand credit back. But that wasn't going to happen. Instead, I walked out, leaving her standing there in my office. No, her office now, completely speechless. But what Lisa didn't know was that I had been quietly building something else on the side. For months, I had been working on a new business venture, something leaner, smarter, and completely independent from the mess that came with my old company. It had been a backup plan at first, a small project I worked on during my rare free hours. But now it was my future. And for the first time in years I felt free. Lisa had no idea what was coming. At first, Lisa thrived off the attention. I saw the posts she made online, boasting about her company, her leadership, her vision. She basked in the praise, the congratulatory messages from family, the admiration from colleagues who assumed she had been the brains behind our success all along. For the first 2 weeks, she walked around like a queen. But then, reality hit. Running a business wasn't about fancy titles or taking credit. It was about solving problems. It was about handling clients, managing crises, keeping the machine running even when everything was on fire. And Lisa? She had no idea how to do any of it. I started getting texts from former colleagues. "Hey, do you know what's going on? Lisa's canceling meetings last minute. Dude, our biggest client just pulled out." She completely botched the presentation. Man, I hate to say this, but the company's sinking fast. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Because the best part. She couldn't blame me. She had made it very clear. This was her show now. And she was failing spectacularly. The clients I had spent years cultivating started leaving. Employees, frustrated with her mismanagement, began quitting. She tried hiring new people, but without my reputation backing the company, no one worthwhile wanted to work for her. I knew exactly what was coming next. Lisa was going to desperately try to fix things. And when she couldn't, she would come crawling back. I just didn't expect it to happen so soon. It took 3 weeks. 3 weeks for Lisa to go from arrogant to overwhelmed. From, I deserve more, to, I need help. It started with small things, messages from her that I ignored. Hey, I need to ask you something. Quick question, can you call me? I think there's been a misunderstanding with some of the clients. Then the calls began. At first, I let them go to voicemail. Then, just for fun, I finally picked up. The moment she heard my voice, she let out a breath of relief. Finally! Listen, we need to talk. I leaned back in my chair, amused. We. Funny how she was suddenly using that word again. What about? I asked, pretending I didn't know exactly why she was calling. Lisa hesitated, clearly struggling to swallow her pride. Things have been complicated. There are some issues with the clients, and some of the contracts weren't as solid as I thought. I just need you to. No, I interrupted. Silence. I could practically hear her brain short-circuiting. No, she repeated, as if she had never heard the word before. That's right, I said calmly. Lisa, you said you deserved this. That I could manage. Well, I am managing somewhere else. This is what you wanted, remember? She was quiet for a long moment. Then she scoffed. Oh, come on. Stop being dramatic. You know the company is struggling without you. Just come back and fix things. I laughed. I actually laughed. Fix things? You mean clean up your mess? No thanks. Look, I know we've had our differences, but this isn't just about me, okay? The company is going under. The employees? The employees? I cut her off. You mean the same people you let believe that I was never that important? The same ones who cheered for you while you took all the credit? Lisa stammered. I didn't, that's not. I sighed. Lisa, you wanted the business. You got it. Now deal with it. She tried again, her voice more desperate now. Please, I'll make it right. I'll tell everyone you were the real reason it was successful. No, I said firmly. That ship has sailed. And then, before she could argue, I hung up. I sat there for a moment, staring at my phone. Lisa had spent years believing she could take whatever she wanted, that she was entitled to my work, my success, my life. But this time? She was on her own. For the first time in her life, Lisa had to face the consequences of her own actions. And she did not handle it well. After I hung up on her, she tried everything to get me back. First, she went through denial. She sent me text after text, acting like I was the unreasonable one. Wow, so you're really gonna let everything we built fall apart? I thought you cared about the company. You're being so petty. This isn't just about me, it's about our legacy. Our legacy? That was rich coming from someone who had shoved me out of my own business. I ignored her. Then came the guilt trips. Mom and Dad are so disappointed in you. I can't believe you'd abandon all those employees. After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me? That last one nearly made me spit out my coffee. Everything she had done for me? I was the one who built the company. I was the one who put in the years of effort. She was the one who took credit and shoved me out. If anything, I should have been the one sending those messages to her. But the best part. The worse things got for her, the better things got for me. With all my energy now focused on my new business, the one I had been quietly building in the background, I was making faster progress than I ever had before. Within a month, I had locked in my first major contract. A contract that would have gone to my old company, if Lisa hadn't driven our clients away. Within 2 months, I had a full team. Small, but efficient. I wasn't weighed down by Lisa's ego, bad decisions, or unnecessary drama. Within 3 months, my new company was making more profit than my old one ever had. And the best part? Lisa was drowning. I knew it was getting bad when mutual acquaintances started calling me. "Man, what's going on with Lisa?" one of my old employees, Jake, asked me one afternoon. "I left last week. It's a mess over there." "Oh?" I said, pretending I had no idea. "What happened?" "She's clueless," he sighed. "She doesn't know how to handle the clients, deadlines are getting missed, and now she's making up excuses instead of fixing anything. Clients are dropping like flies." He let out a humorless laugh. "She actually tried to blame us. Said the team was the problem. Like we weren't fine before she took over." I shook my head. "Classic Lisa. She's panicking," he continued. "There was a rumor she was going to reach out to you again. Beg you to come back." I smirked. "Oh, she already did." Jake laughed. And I told her no." He let out a whistle. "Good for you, man. She doesn't deserve you." And that was the truth. Lisa didn't deserve me. She wanted all the credit but none of the responsibility. She wanted to be the star without putting in the work. Well, now she had everything she wanted. And she was watching it slip through her fingers. But the real final blow? That was still to come. Lisa wasn't just losing control of the company, she was about to lose it completely. A few weeks after our last conversation, I got a call from someone I never expected. Our biggest investor. He was a sharp, no-nonsense guy named Richard Carter, a businessman who didn't waste time on emotions. He had been a crucial part of our company's success, investing heavily because he believed in me. Not Lisa. So when I saw his name pop up on my phone, I knew exactly why he was calling. I picked up. "Hey, Richard." There was a long sigh on the other end. "So, are you finally ready to come back?" I chuckled. "Not a chance." Silence. Then a small laugh. "Didn't think so?" I leaned back in my chair. "Let me guess, Lisa finally ran the company into the ground?" "Oh, she didn't just run it into the ground," Richard said. "She buried it." I could practically hear the frustration in his voice. "We've lost 4 major clients this quarter. The company's hemorrhaging money. Lisa's scrambling, but it's obvious she has no idea what she's doing." I wasn't surprised. I had seen it coming from a mile away. "What do you want from me, Richard?" I asked. He hesitated. "Look, I'm pulling my investment. I've already started the process. Without that funding, she won't last another month. She's finished." I nodded. "Makes sense. You're making the right move." Richard sighed again. "I tried to warn her. Told her she wasn't ready to run the business alone. She insisted she could handle it. That she deserved it." I smirked. "Yeah. I remember. And now," he continued, "she's begging me not to pull out. Called me 3 times this morning." I raised an eyebrow. And I told her exactly what she needed to hear." I leaned forward. "Which is?" Richard chuckled. "That I only ever invested because of you. And that I wouldn't trust her with a lemonade stand." I let out a low whistle. "Brutal. She deserved it," he said. "She thought she could fake her way through leadership. That she could ride on your work forever. But business doesn't work like that." I smiled. "No, it doesn't." Then Richard paused. "Between you and me, what's next for you?" I knew what he was really asking. He wanted in on my new company. I glanced at my desk, at the signed contracts, the new clients, the growing team. "I'm doing just fine, Richard," I said. "Better than ever, actually." A thoughtful hum. "Good. Keep me in mind if you ever need backing." "I'll think about it." We hung up, and I sat there, letting it sink in. Lisa was officially done. Her arrogance had cost her everything. And the best part? She had no one to blame but herself. I thought that would be the end of it. Lisa had lost the company, lost the investors, and lost any credibility she once had. I figured she'd disappear for a while, maybe try to spin the story to save face. But I underestimated her desperation. Because the very next day, she showed up at my office. I was in the middle of reviewing a contract when my assistant, Claire, knocked on my door. "There's someone here to see you," she said, looking uncomfortable. I glanced up. "Who?" She hesitated. "Your sister." I sighed, pinching the bridge of my nose. "Did she have an appointment?" "No, but she's refusing to leave." Of course she was. I leaned back in my chair, debating. Every part of me wanted to tell Claire to throw her out, but a small part of me was curious. I wanted to see how far she had fallen. I nodded. "Send her in." A moment later, Lisa walked through the door. She looked awful. Her usual smug confidence was gone. Instead, she looked exhausted, dark circles under her eyes, her hair messier than usual. She wasn't wearing one of her perfectly curated outfits. Instead, she looked like someone who had been losing sleep over the mess she had created. And I loved every second of it. She sat down without being invited and immediately launched into her plea. "Look, I know things got out of hand," she started, forcing a weak smile. "I may have overestimated how easy it would be to run things." I raised an eyebrow. "Oh?" She swallowed. "I made some mistakes. But I want to fix them. And I know the company can still be saved. We can still fix it." I stared at her, letting the silence stretch. Then, finally, I spoke. "There is no we, Lisa." Her face faltered. You took everything from me," I said calmly. "You lied to our family, to our clients, to our investors. You wanted to be in charge. Now you're dealing with the consequences." Lisa's jaw clenched, and for a split second, I saw that old entitlement flash across her face. But then, just as quickly, it was gone. "Fine," she muttered. "Then, maybe you can hire me? I can work under you. I'll take any position you have available." I let out a laugh. A real, genuine laugh. "Lisa, working for me? After everything?" I shook my head. "That's never going to happen." Her eyes widened. "But you burned that bridge the moment you said you deserved more." I leaned forward. "You made your bed. Now lie in it." Lisa's face turned red. She opened her mouth like she wanted to argue, but there was nothing left to say. She had lost. She stood up abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. "You're going to regret this," she snapped. "You think you've won, but—" I cut her off with a smirk. "Oh, I know I've won." Lisa glared at me for a moment longer, then stormed out of my office. I watched her go, feeling lighter than I had in years. For once, I wasn't the one cleaning up her mess. For once, I wasn't the one left picking up the pieces. Lisa had spent her whole life taking from me. Now, she had nothing left to take. Lisa never called again after that day. No more desperate texts. No more guilt trips. No more pleas for help. She had finally realized that I wasn't coming back. And honestly, I had never felt better. With Lisa gone, my new company was thriving. I didn't have to waste energy fixing her mistakes. I didn't have to constantly fight for credit. I could finally focus on building something that was truly mine. And it showed. Within 6 months, my business had outpaced my old one. Within a year, I had landed the kind of contracts that Lisa would have killed for. Meanwhile, Lisa? She had vanished. I heard bits and pieces from mutual connections. Apparently, after the company collapsed, she tried to start her own business. It failed in less than 3 months. She burned through her savings, trying to keep it afloat. When that didn't work, she started job hopping, bouncing from one company to another, never lasting long. It turns out, when you build your success on lies, you don't have much to fall back on. I wasn't the only one who had written her off either. Our old colleagues didn't trust her anymore. Our investors wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. Even our family, who had once believed her nonsense, had stopped making excuses for her. She had run out of people to manipulate. And now? She was completely alone. The irony? She had been so desperate to take credit for my work, but now my real success had left her in the dust. And I wasn't looking back. I should have known it was coming. After more than a year of silence, Lisa reappeared. It started with a single, hesitant text. "Hey, can we talk?" I stared at the message for a while, debating whether I even wanted to entertain this. A year ago, she had come into my office demanding I fix her mess. Now, she was asking to talk. I didn't respond. A day later, she sent another message. "I know I messed up. I just want to make things right." I almost laughed. Lisa didn't do making things right. She did damage control. Still, I was curious. So against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her at a public cafe on neutral ground. When I walked in, Lisa was already there, sitting at a corner table. And she looked different. Not just physically, though she had lost that overly polished, confident look she always carried. No, this was deeper. She looked defeated. For the first time, I wasn't seeing my arrogant, entitled sister. I was seeing someone who had finally hit rock bottom. She offered a small, nervous smile as I sat down. "Hey," she said. I nodded. "Lisa." She hesitated, like she didn't know how to start. Then she let out a slow breath. "I lost everything." I didn't say anything. Just waited. I burned too many bridges. She continued, staring down at her coffee. "Nobody trusts me anymore. I can't get a job in the industry. Every investor I reach out to remembers how I screwed up the company. Even Mom and Dad have stopped bailing me out." I raised an eyebrow. "That bad, huh?" She let out a weak laugh. "Yeah." Another pause. Then she finally looked up at me. "I'm sorry," she said. "For everything." And for the first time, I actually believed her. This wasn't like before, when she apologized just to get something out of me. This was real. But here's the thing. It didn't change anything. I wasn't angry at her anymore. I wasn't holding a grudge. But I also wasn't going to let her back into my life. I leaned back in my chair. "I appreciate the apology, Lisa. But that doesn't mean things go back to the way they were." She nodded, looking like she had expected that. "I know." For once, she didn't try to argue. Didn't try to manipulate me. She just accepted it. And honestly, that was enough for me. I paid for my coffee, stood up, and gave her one last look. "I hope you figure things out," I said. Then I walked away. And this time, I knew I would never look back. Walking away from Lisa that day felt different. There was no anger. No bitterness. No need for revenge. Just closure. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel like I owed her anything. I didn't feel like I needed to prove anything. I had won. Not because I had destroyed her, but because I had moved on. And life? Life was better than ever. My business was thriving. I had a team I actually trusted, clients who respected me, and full control over my own success. The stress, the exhaustion, the dead weight I had carried for years? Gone. Lisa's name barely came up anymore. She had faded into the background, just another cautionary tale about what happens when you take more than you deserve. As for me, I had finally built something that was mine. Something that no one, not Lisa, not my family, not anyone, could take away from me. And that was the real victory.